Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. Today I'm out for a rainy walk and it has inspired me to talk about balance, the balance of healing. So everyone knows that there is a force in nature that is always trying to find balance. The law of opposites tells us there's a negative and a positive polarity, and we are always trying to find balance within that. There's a yin and there's a yang. There's the masculine and there's the feminine. So when we are trying to heal, what we're actually trying to do is create and find balance, okay? Because healing acts like a pendulum. Rapid swings back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, but never able to stop in the middle because the energy of the swing was too high. The pendulum was swinging too wildly. So this pendulum that's swinging, everybody knows if you take a log and you swing it back and forth on a rope, it will go wide and wide. It will keep swinging. Eventually, it will slow down to the point you're just going back and forth very gently over top of the middle until finally it becomes still. And that's what it's like with healing. What we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish is to have the log settle from these wild pendulum swings to very, very soft pendulum swings that are just going back and forth out over top of the middle and coming into a balance. So all of us have masculine and feminine qualities within us. We all have both sides of this energy within our one human beingness. We have the feminine and we have the masculine. And some of us are more in the masculine. I'm not talking about gender. I'm not talking about male and female. I'm talking about the energy. So some of us are more in our masculine and some of us are more in our feminine. And this can apply to either sex, either gender. So the masculine energy is an energy of drive, go-getterness, doing, taking action, setting goals, hustling, grinding, following through, right? It's a really action-oriented. You're really in the doing if you're in masculine energy. And then there's feminine energy, and you're more in the feeling, the emotions, the trying to understand, the communication, the nurturing, the spiritual side of things. So you're more in the intuitive side, the feeling side, right? You're trying to understand. There's a communication and understanding. So you're in the exploration side of things, the senses. Maybe you're working through processing something, understanding something. These are the feminine sides of the energy. So a lot of times we talk about, the feeling and the thinking being the masculine, the feeling being the feminine. And really all of this crosses paths. It's all one thing. We all have all of these aspects within us, but we may be more dominant in one or the other, or we may swing wildly back and forth to both extremes. And we don't really want to live in the extremes when we're healing. We don't want to live in that masculine doing energy or just the feeling energy of the feminine. We want and need a balance. So when you're healing and you're putting all this energy and work into doing your protocols, doing the diet, doing the thing, making the decisions, making sure you understand whether you should do this or that, and making your goals and plans and following through and taking massive action, you are in the masculine. And when you're processing your feelings and looking inward and really intuiting how you feel and getting a sense of your body and awareness and somatically understanding what's going on in your body and allowing your intuitive senses and your emotions to guide you. And you're being overwhelmed maybe by your emotions and you're being pulled down by them. You may be extremely in your feminine. And we are absolutely looking for a balance. We want to be intuitive. We want to feel our feelings, to feel our emotions, but we don't want to be weighted down by them. We don't want to be overcome and overwhelmed by them. We don't want to sink into them. Just as much we need to take action. We need to have our plan. We need to follow through. We need to be in that masculine energy so that we can take charge of our lives and make choices and then follow through with the action required to actually change. But we don't want to be weighed down by this. We don't want to be overwhelmed by our list and the pressure that we have on us to succeed and do, and the drive that is keeping us down and sick. So on your healing journey, you may find that you sometimes get in this masculine energy of, I know what I'm going to do, I have to do it, take charge, bullheaded, determined, will, just push, push, push. I've been in this energy many, many times. It's a helpful energy at times during your journey. And sometimes you can be so overcome and overwhelmed with your feelings and your emotions, and you sink into despair. You may sink down into grief and despair and be overcome by these emotions and not be able to climb out, not be able to take any action at all because you are so weighted down with your emotions and your feelings, sometimes helpless and hopeless to do anything to overcome, to take charge and overcome your circumstances if you are too in the feminine. So the equilibrium of the masculine and the feminine is where we find that balance, is where that log goes over very, very slowly. We're a little bit in the masculine, we're a little bit in the feminine. Sometimes we're perfectly still and balanced in both energies, meaning we do sense our feelings, we do allow our feelings, we do allow them to move through. We are intuitive, we do look inward, we allow ourselves to flow and to be spontaneous and to listen to what's happening inside, as well as taking action, taking inspired action, doing things that feel right, that are guided by those. When we marry that masculine and feminine together, when our masculine and feminine work hand in hand, when those two energies, those two polarities come close together, there's magic. A lot of times people think that this balance that we're looking from when the pendulum swings is like a perfect stillness, is like a Buddha monk, is like sitting still in meditation where nothing happens, you feel good, everything's okay, but there's no movement of any kind, perfectly still in the present moment. And while that is technically true, so is everything happening all at once in the present moment, but a perfect balance of both extremes happening, a perfect balance, a perfect blend of the masculine and the feminine coming together as one, where your masculine side doesn't push too hard. You take action that's aligned to the feminine, to the intuitive, to the feeling senses, where they are walking hand in hand, where you're listening to your body, your inner emotions and your feelings, but you're also using your mind and your brain and taking action that is aligned, and it all comes into perfect balance, even in the chaos of life. And so that perfect balance doesn't need to be stillness. It doesn't need to be a nothingness. It can be everything happening. It can be everything happening all at once in your life. The total chaos of life happening, but you are centered. Your spirit is balanced, right? Your negative and your feminine aspects of yourself, the yin and the yang within you, are balanced. The mind and the body and the heart all come into perfect alignment, connecting to your beautiful soul, right? The essence of you, the essence who you are. And they are all balanced. They are all allowed. They are all perfect and beautiful, and they all have something to give and to contribute, and no one's pushing too hard or pulling too hard. And it's all a beautiful balance as they listen to each other and take cues from each other and finding that balance within the center of you. So the next time your symptoms are out of control, or you're suffering, or you feel like you're backsliding, or things aren't going well, it's a bad day maybe, just stop and notice. Are you more in your masculine energy? Is this what's out of balance? Or are you more in your feminine energy? Have you been weighed down by the emotions and the feelings? What is happening with you? Are you overwhelmed with your to-do list and the pressure and the responsibility and your drive and the pressure on yourself to heal? Or are you overwhelmed by the emotions and the feelings and the grief and the sadness? Is that weighing you down? Where are you overwhelmed? And just pull back in that area and give attention to the other side of you that is needing to be heard. Because this is how you find balance in real time, in real healing. And sometimes that means coming to a 0 point It means coming to that stillness in meditation, right? Sitting, breathing, finding perfect stillness, even if the symptoms aren't still, even if your thoughts aren't still, even if your emotions aren't still, trying to come into a stillness so you can figure out, is it your thoughts that are running away with you? The masculine side of yourself? Is it your feelings that are the problem here and pulling you under? Your feminine side, right? Where are you unbalanced in your life? Where are you unhappy? Where is this coming from? Where's the pressure? Where are you out of alignment with yourself, out of balance with yourself? And sitting in this 0 point, sitting in this meditation, coming into perfect stillness, doesn't make everything okay, but it makes you become aware of what's out of balance. It helps you take that moment for yourself to just breathe, be still, and notice what's out of balance, what hurts, where in your life are you pushing and pulling or sinking, what is happening, what energies are you living too much in, where are you out of balance in the other energies that are needing to come in to help find more balance, to help this situation. And so maybe if you're so consumed with your feelings and emotions and your processing and your grief and you're in your feelings, then maybe you do need to take some action in your life. Maybe when you're sitting in that meditation, you realize, I need to make a plan. I need to take control of this. I need to do some things to help myself. How can I make a plan? How can I take action? How can I be accountable to myself? And maybe that is something that comes out of it that will create more balance in your healing journey and will actually help you heal when you're more balanced. Or maybe you have so many protocols going, you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, you're overworked, you're bitter, you're resentful, you've been working the candle at both ends, you're doing everything for everyone else, no one's appreciating it, you're feeling overworked, stressed out. Maybe you need to sit down and realize and take this breath that you just need to feel. You need to allow your feelings to rise up. You need to process some of that grief, some of that anger, that you're holding too much of that down, and that you just need to take time to sit and to allow it, to be with it, to process those emotions inside, to feel them, to look inside, to be more intuitive, to ask your heart what it needs and wants. And maybe that's what's missing in your healing protocol. Maybe that's what's out of balance, and doing more of that will help bring balance back to the wholeness of you. So when we're talking about healing the self, we're always talking about bringing the self into balance and bringing the self back to wholeness. Because when you're whole, you're complete, right? And when you are whole, when you're complete, when you are perfectly in balance, this is when disease, this is when illness, this is when stress and a lot of physical, emotional, mental symptoms and diagnoses and conditions will fall away, because you are now in balance. You're now balancing yourself, and the body is not out of alignment with its energy, and it's now able to work in harmony. It's able to do what it's meant to do, to heal you, to heal itself, and to come into that balance that you so desire to live in. And so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it, consider subscribing. Remember, we are working towards wholeness and balance in our healing journey. So I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.